Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of The Horror Show with Justin and Daniella. I'm Justin. It's Daniella.
Yep.
And our first episode is called Manson in a Movie, where we will be talking about serial killer Charles Manson, and the movie will be The Shining. Now, before we get into why these two topics, I'm sure you'd like to know a little bit about your host. So let me first tell you about myself. Justin Bienvenu. I am a published author of six books, mainly horror, and I also like to write poetry. So that's right, I'm a horror author and poet, which is probably not normal, but
Like, heck yeah.
um, and yeah, so I decided that I would give this a shot because this is also horror influence, of course. So Daniela, tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Daniella. I'm like, 23 years old. I do nothing right now. um, but I love scary movies too. I think I kind of write poetry a little. And I like talking about true crime stuff. So I thought I could do that with my best friend pretty much. So yeah, it'll be kind of fun and hopefully we can keep going with it.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so now that you know a little bit about us, I guess the next question that people will probably have thinking to themselves, why is it called Manson in a movie? Well, normal people probably don't talk about Charles Manson, regularly. Well, not regularly, but
Right.
but Danielle and I talk about Charles Manson a little too often. So
Yeah,
you know what?
a
I
little
thought,
too often. I
yeah,
almost gave you some Manson merchandise,
true
best
story.
friend stuff.
True story. That's
Yeah,
for another day.
right.
Another
Yeah.
time maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But but yeah. So when I decided to do this show, I thought that for the first thing that popped into my mind was topic Charles Manson, and she was like, "Yeah, yeah, let's do that." And for the movie, I mean, we both love The Shining, so I figured that would be a perfect topic to start with. So I put them
Yeah.
together, Manson in a movie. So
Yeah.
get your popcorn ready, a little soda, and let's do this, shall we?
Yeah.
All right. So how this works is we both will ask each other two questions about the topic at hand, and we will discuss, um, give our answers, and yeah, see where it goes from there. So I'll ask Daniela my first two questions. My first question about Charles Manson is, why do you think people were so influenced by him?
Oh, that's a good one. Um, I think he was super influential, I guess, because I don't know, he was just so crazy, I guess. Like everything was just so random with him, or I guess because of that, like he was able to grab different sorts of people, like, the girl that was supposedly perfect, like straight A student, they would never think that she would do anything like this. But like, I think maybe because Charles Manson was so random that like he could almost like put on any personality for anyone. And so like maybe it was easier for him to like influence people that way. Um,
The
I don't
hippie
know.
mentality?
Yeah, yeah. And then like, obviously he was completely like in denial or something that like he didn't convince these people to do it. They did what basically they wanted to do, and like, he gave them whatever they thought they didn't have, and like he really just thought he was like the best thing ever, So maybe that's what
Oh,
people, yeah. But yeah, I think that, and like he was just like he didn't, care, I guess, that like he was always trying to make like people like look at him in a weird way, you know. Like, I mean, there's the obvious, you know, swastika on the forehead, you know. Obviously people aren't gonna like think of you in a good way, so maybe like rebels or punks or whatever, they're like, oh man, I want to do that too or whatever. So I don't know, I guess
Okay.
yeah.
I think that's more like maybe, like you said, so many words, the hippie mentality, and people were
Yeah,
easily influenced back in those days.
yeah,
And people sort of are easily influenced now because,
yeah,
we're
yeah,
downgrading and something. But if there was
right.
somebody like Charles Manson today, I imagine it would be the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, like, and because, like, if I think about, like, for myself, if I think about, like, my influencers, like, they're all, like, music people or, like, artsy people and things like that. So obviously, you like people got to be influenced by, like, seeing other, like, people and then saying, hey, I see a little bit of that in me and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think that goes back to like, you know, him just being able to like pull off any kind of persona. So I think it was just that much easier as well. But yeah.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned music as your
Yeah.
influence, which actually
Yeah.
leads me to question number two. If Terry if Terry Fulcher had gave Manson's music a chance, how do you think things would have been? And for those who don't know who Terry Fulcher is, he's the guy whom Charles Manson was originally trying to attack when he sent his family to the house to kill, only to find that Terry
Yeah.
had actually moved away, and it was actually Roman Polanski's house, and Roman Polanski was overseas, and you know the deal. Sharon Tate was at the house with her friends.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
like,
yeah, so basically, yeah. How do you think Terry Fulcher, you know, if Terry Fulcher had given Manson's music a chance, do you think it would have changed things?
I, I don't know. See, I don't think Manson really, now that I'm thinking about it and you're asking me this question, I don't think that Charles Manson really wanted to be good, I guess, in a way. So, like, maybe he didn't care that he was really good at music or that he was bad at it. I just think maybe he always wanted to kind of create this cult kind of thing, you know, because of the, like, you know, he wanted to be like as big as the Beatles, you know, Beatlemania took over and stuff like that. I think maybe he just thought, oh, music's an easy way to get to people. Like I said, music people are my biggest influencers. So something like that would, you know, get me to like follow his lifestyle or things like that. So maybe if he did, like, he was like, oh, I wasn't good enough, so I didn't hit it off. I gotta make people follow me in a different way. So I think, I don't know. I think he would have always maybe ended up in uh, committing a crime and things like that. I think that was always his goal. I just think maybe he tried to use music and stuff like that as the reason for why it all happened.
That's interesting. So you think that maybe if it wasn't Terry Fulcher that set him off, it would have been something else,
Yeah, yeah,
and it
I
was
think
inevitable.
right, yeah. And in the end, you know, like it wasn't his music that influenced these people to murder them. It was him, you know, himself, what he told them. It wasn't like they were listening to his songs and like quote or a lyric, you know, like inspired them to do it. No, it was Manson. So I think either way it would have happened. Maybe not a murder, but you know, like robbing or scamming people out of their money. You
Yeah,
know, maybe nowadays that would have been the case. But yeah, I think he was always just had this plan. I don't think he ever really wanted to be good at anything.
yeah.
And
The one thing he was good
he
at was
was kind of
crime.
crazy anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so fun fact, for those who don't know, Charles Manson he actually befriended Dennis Wilson, and that's how he was able to, get in contact with Terry Folger. Um, he actually one day went to the family campsite, whatever they call that,
Oh,
foundation,
yeah.
and Charles Manson actually played him a couple of songs. And like a couple years later, the Beach Boys actually recorded a song that Charles Manson wrote. And Charles Manson found this out and he never got credit for it and he was pissed.
Huh. Wow.
So, I mean, again, if it wasn't one thing, later on,
It-
maybe
it-
that would have set him off too. Maybe
exactly.
that was one
Exactly.
of the reasons.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I was your question kind of ties into my question, I guess, or kind of like relates to it too.
Okay.
But so my question was, do you think Manson would be famous if he was a good musician? But, I
Um,
I
I
don't
mean, I
again,
can answer that. I mean, I won't lie. I've been on YouTube. I got curious one day, and
me
I typed in Charles Manson songs, and I'm not gonna give the man credit for being a good musician because I mean, look what he became, you know. So
yeah,
I don't feel it would be right to say it. I
yeah.
mean, honestly, like it's a little, I don't know, like it's 60s, but at the same time, it's a little too folky. So I can kind of see
Okay,
why
yeah.
Terry Fulcher's like, no, dude, like I'm gonna pass.
Right.
But I mean, I think maybe if he wasn't so like crime driven and so
Hmm.
like carefree and crazy at the same time, maybe he could have had something with his music.
Yeah.
Maybe Terry Fulcher gave him a chance. Maybe if the Beach Boys like maybe if they really liked him, he could have like collaborated with them. But do I think that he had any musical talent? I mean, I think maybe he had like I'll say 10%.
Yeah.
He might have had talent there, but it's just so overshadowed by what we now know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I think I don't know, with what I just said, I don't think I don't think he wouldn't I don't think he would not be famous because again, I think he was always after the crime aspect of it.
like,
So I think he would have been famous. But again, also I agree that I've been on YouTube, gotten curious, and I mean, the songs that I listened to, which were like two of them, they weren't like, oh my god, get it off, but I wouldn't also be like, oh my god, I actually listened to Charles Manson and I like it, I
yeah,
no, that
and
that would
they weren't that
be
long either. So,
so wrong. It would be so wrong and weird, and yeah, no, there's just no way. But I think maybe if he had shown like if maybe he would have been remorseful or even, like admitted to it while he was in jail or something and said he felt bad and things like that, then maybe I would have been like, hey, yeah, he would have still been famous. He was a good guy. But no, no, he really
yeah.
wasn't. I don't think so. But I think he would still be famous one way or another. So yeah. Um, and then my second question was, who do you think in 5 years, I guess, because I was gonna say 10, but it's kind of far. In 5 years, who do you think will be the new like Manson for us with
I mean,
everything that's been going on? Like, is there anyone that you can think of that's gotten kind of a high profile case nowadays?
um, I mean, I haven't really. I mean, it's good that we don't have serial killers these days, although maybe we do. And I mean, you'd know better than I would.
I
Um,
mean, I'm sure they're out there.
I mean, El Chapo is more of a terrorist than a serial killer. But I
Yeah.
mean, that's the biggest high-profile guy I can think of. I mean, I'm trying to think of another killer, but like. I think it's good that I can't think of one. That's probably the best answer that I can give.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I more. I mean, I imagine most killers who are probably behind bars, or
Yeah.
there's one waiting that we nobody knows about yet.
Right. I think I don't think we'll ever have a like a new Manson. Only because like when you said you would maybe consider El Chapo or something, I think about like most criminals and stuff like that. They're after like drugs and stuff like that, like how you said, oh, we don't have serial killers nowadays. Like, yeah, serial killers were kind of more like hateful towards humans and things like that. Where like now crimes you'll hear about like drug busts and stuff like that. So I think I don't think we would have another one.
Actually, I mean, in could we have another Manson? Possibly in the sense of the whole like cult following, because you
Hmm.
remember like the
Oh
same
yeah, that's
cult,
true. Yeah.
and then there was another guy. I actually just watched a documentary on it recently.
Mhm.
It was the guy that he had all these people join his um his teachings and his courses and
Mhm.
stuff. He had this like pyramid that they had to follow, and he took them out to the desert, and they had to go inside a tent, and
What?
the tent was a sauna, and three people actually died because
Oh
they
my
stayed and
God.
they passed out.
Oh
And
wow.
he he claimed he wasn't responsible, but I think they actually he spent time in prison. He's actually out
Oh
now,
God.
and he's doing the same thing. He's still teaching.
That's
So
crazy.
maybe that guy. I don't remember his
Yeah,
name,
I mean maybe.
but again, I
I
mean, probably not
I
to
mean,
the degree of Manson, just because it was the
yeah.
'60s time. But that's probably the closest I would say.
Yeah. I was gonna say that like, well, for them, like it's a cult in the sense that like they still got, he still got people to kill other people. But like nowadays, or from the documentaries and stuff that I've seen, where it has to do with cults, it's usually a religion thing.
Right.
And you don't see people killing other people and
Right.
claim
Usually
that they're in
accident.
cults. Like it was so weird back then, and it's still pretty weird now. And yeah, I've seen most like cults and stuff like that are like sexual kind of things and like,
Right.
very religious type things. So
Yeah.
I don't think cult wise, I don't think it would happen either, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think our closing. I think we've already started our closing thoughts. Excuse me there.
Yeah, I think
Um,
so.
I don't think that we'll ever see another person like Manson, and that is a good thing.
Yeah, really.
I would say that in the sense of like it being a cult, I think there unfortunately has been a upgrade in the way that cults are done now, which is
Yeah.
probably even more dangerous than they were back in the day. Like people
Mhm.
were easily influenced back then, but nowadays I would say people aren't easily influenced, but it's more or less the power of the person that does it, and that's brainwashing. And if that's one thing that Manson was good at, it was brainwashing people. And unfortunately, you could say today, people can also be brainwashed in the sense of, hey, join my cult, you'll be great. And then,
I mean, all you have to say is, inject Lysol and you'll be immune to, things that are going on nowadays. So I guess you could say that's a cult too. But no, yeah, I don't think we'll ever have another Manson either. Thank God. I don't know. We have a lot of like, I don't think a lot of people try to follow like cult leaders and stuff like that nowadays. We have a lot of like copycat shootings and stuff like
right,
that, but that's really all that we see nowadays. We don't see people trying to get others to drink Kool-Aid and.
when it comes to drinking the Kool-Aid, cults, and shootings, I'm sure that'll be another episode that we can
Right.
talk more about.
Yeah,
But
really.
now that we've discussed Charles Manson, we can move on to the movie portion of the
Yes.
episode, which is The Shining. Now, let's see. The Shining in a nutshell. Here you go. Here you go, ladies and gentlemen. It is a book by Stephen King, but in this sense, I'm talking about the movie, which of course was directed by Stanley Kubrick, and it follows the tale of a man who is asked to be the caretaker of a hotel during the winter season, and he takes himself and his family down there, and cabin fever slowly gets to him, and he's driven to madness, and a lot of crazy stuff happens, just like it does in any horror movie. Although at the same time it doesn't. So again, that's a horrible explanation of The Shining. But I'll just briefly explain what I like about The Shining. Um, or maybe that's a question that I have for you, which is,
Oh
what
God.
do you love the most about what do you why do you love The Shining so much?
I love I love the I love the carpet. I love
Carpet. Look at that. She starts with the carpet. How
I mean
iconic carpet
I
is.
I do love the carpet, but no, if I'm gonna say I love the carpet, I gotta say I love the cinematography and like, just the way it was produced, I think. Produced and, the um like the scores and stuff like that, I love the way everything is like tied together, things like that. I love actually that there's really no effects, it's all done with like atmosphere and he's walking upstairs slowly with an axe, like it's building up to that horror and suspense, where nowadays it's just jump scares, gore and spilling guts everywhere. And I do love gore, like say Saw, but I can't. I gotta have like, a storyline or something. And I think that I love the way that it's relatable due to things going on around the world. And now, people are starting to feel a little bit like Mr. Torrance, but I think it's very relatable. And it takes place in like the woods in the cabin, but like I said, because of what we're going through, it's happening like in our own houses. So it's kind of scary to think that, yeah, you're with your family, but, sometimes it gets to be too much and stuff. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
it takes place in a hotel. You said cabin, but I get what you meant.
Well,
Cabin fever is what they get.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, there we go. Sorry.
But you actually said the reason that without knowing it, you said the reason why I like The Shining so much, which is like, to me it's like a build up, and
Yes.
not like the horror movies of today. It's like a build up, and you don't see a lot of you don't see you don't see any gore,
Yeah,
and it's like elements
exactly.
that build up and that scare factor, that suspense.
Yeah.
Like there's ghosts, but you don't see them. You only hear them at first. There's something going on over there, but we're not going to go there yet. And then it
Yeah.
goes there. And I love that. And like in the cinematography, the carpet, you have to mention the carpet when you talk about Shining.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people would mention like the Grady twins,
Oh,
like
yeah.
Stanny. Like, yeah, they're cool and all, but like, I'll take Lloyd the Butler any day. Like that.
Yeah.
Like, without even actually
Honestly,
being creepy, he's creepy to
yeah.
me.
And I mean, I guess if they would have done like again, I don't know from the book because you said you've read the book, I think,
I
or
haven't read the book, but
parts of it.
I know stuff that's in the book that's not in the movie.
All right, well, you know more about the book than I do. But again, I don't know about the book or the new movie that came out, but I wish maybe if they would have explained the twins and like, the guy before him, they would have done like a little bit more of like a backstory on them, then maybe they would have been a little scarier. But yeah, they're just kind of there for
I
some.
think, yeah, I believe it is actually explained a little bit more thoroughly
Oh,
in the book. So
yeah. Oh, okay. So then maybe that would have been it. But I would have liked to see a little bit more of them in the movie, and maybe a little more of that creepy old lady in the tub.
brings me to my second question.
Oh,
What scene in the movie scares you the most?
for me, it's gonna be dang, I don't know. I mean, it's not really a scary movie, I guess. But like suspense wise and stuff like that, it would probably be the stair part where they're going up the stairs. Cause like again, I think I said this before when we were talking about this little episode, but it's just he's walking up the stairs so slowly with an axe, and he's got this look in his face like he's gonna snap or that he snapped, and it's funny because like you just know looking at him that he's angry and pissed off. He's obviously a like tall guy and like pretty strong and stuff, so you're like he doesn't even have to waste his time walking up these stairs. Like he could run at any second and just
I
grab Wendy, and it's just like, he doesn't. He just like plays with her emotions and stuff like that and just goes one by one. And I like that scene a lot.
okay.
So
Um, well, you mentioned my the scene that scares me the most, and that's
oh,
the lady in the tub, the lady in
oh
room 237 or 237, right? Yeah, 237.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that scene is just so downright creepy. And it's not so much, I've seen the movie so many times now that even though I know that scene by heart, it's
Yeah.
not so much, it's even before the tub. It's even before they get to the bathroom that scares me. Like looking at the carpet, that carpet, like
Yeah.
you just look around the room and then it peers in and she's in the, she peers the curtain and she's out of the bathroom and she's naked and I'm sure, Jack Nicholson
Yeah.
must have loved that, loved filming that.
Right. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, when he looks in the mirror and then you see it and then it happens and it's just like no matter how many times I've seen it, it still just creeps me out to know
Yeah.
he just backs up and I do a Jack Nicholson face impression of when he's
Right.
backing out of the room like
Yeah.
like I would be like that too and I'd probably be my
Yeah. Yeah, and actually, now that you're talking about it and I'm thinking about it, that's actually probably one of the few times we actually see like, special effects like to be
I
disgusting too.
I
So it kind of comes as like a surprise to you because
yeah
everything has
exactly
been so, like neutral, and I think that's really cool. Yeah, so now that I'm thinking about that scene, yeah, that is a pretty good scene. Like movie wise. So yeah.
and another little fun fact that scene's actually used in the spoil. Me who
Oh,
doesn't spoil
here we
things.
go.
It's in a movie. I'll put it to you that way. And one time I was watching the movie, and Daniella texts me like, "Oh, there's a scene in this movie that you're gonna love," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I'm like 15 minutes in the movie, and I explain the scene to her, and she's like, "I'm like, is this it?" And she's like, "No, no, no, you'll know." Text her like two more times, and then finally, the scene in this movie that I'm watching, they end up in the Shining, and they're in the bathroom, and the lady with the tub happens, and I'm like, oh my god, of all the scenes that they had to do in The Shining, and
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, I like it, but at the same time, God damn it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
What's your question?
So yeah, oh, okay. So my questions are like, what are your thoughts on the ending of the movie, I guess?
Um, so again, the book ending is different from the movie ending, but
Mhm.
I mean, actually, I believe they both end the same, but except with a little different. But I mean, the ending for the movie is just so iconic. I think it's better than the book. I
Right.
mean, Jack Nicholson in the maze, frozen. I mean,
Oh,
that's just absolutely amazing. Like, yeah, Danny and Wendy get away, but like everybody just remembers Jack Nicholson, frozen
yeah.
forever. And I always wonder, like, I love that. Yeah, I love the ending of that. And I just wonder,
Yeah.
like, what happens when like the people who run the hotel
Yeah.
go in, the maintenance guy, maybe he comes across them during the springtime, like, what the heck? Like, he's
Yeah.
some dude, like, frozen solid in the maze. Like, how did this
Right.
happen?
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
I think the ending is, yeah, it's cool as well. I just think like, you mentioned him being frozen in the maze as like one of those things that sticks out. But for me, like probably many others, the photo is what stands out to me the
right.
most about the ending. And I think it's because, like, for me, like, my brain is like, oh my God, he's just a ghost. Maybe, like, maybe no one takes care of the hotel anymore because of like this going on and on and on. Like, I think maybe it's just like a ghost, and we just kind of saw it happen. But then
Right.
again, I haven't read the book, sorry, so
I
I
mean,
don't know what the ending is.
you did mention, yeah. I mean, I thought it did end. For some reason, I thought it ended with him in the maze. Stupid me, because the ending scene of the movie is them showing the picture, and it shows
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson from the ball, 1921, because he's
Yeah.
always been there, as if maybe he's like reincarnated.
Yeah, right.
Uh, just to give people an idea of how much I like the ending of that movie and how much I like the movie in general. One
Right.
moment, please, people.
Are we pausing here? Hey, there it is. Hey.
Yes, that's right. I have a shirt. I have a shirt of the ending of the movie. That doesn't tell you how much I like the movie. I also have
Right.
another Shining shirt too. So,
Yeah. Well, my second question for you was your favorite character in the whole movie.
ah, um, I've never given this thought, so that's a really good question.
I thought this was one of those basic
I
questions.
mean, it is basic, but I've never really given it some like
Yeah.
serious thought. Um, I would say Jack
Jack.
Palance, just because like the way he's to me he's never really okay. Like he's never
Yeah.
really fully sane. Like even in the beginning when he goes there, like he explains things, but he's always slightly a bit off, which is why he's probably so easily manipulated by the ghosts.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say Danny, but eh, like
See,
you
I
have to
I
root for Danny. So
well, see, mine is Danny, but that's only because, he's like the little kid and he is
like
like so innocent and all this stuff. And I think I mean, one could argue that he's just as easily manipulated by ghosts and things because, he's got Tony or whatever. But I mean, I like the actor for Danny, I guess, more than the character. He just did it so
like,
well that he's just like that creepy little kid that wrote Red Rum on the wall.
He's also named the kid who played him
Oh, really?
also named
Oh,
Danny. So,
okay. Another fun fact.
and another fun fact, he actually had a cameo in Doctor Sleep, which is the
Oh,
sequel to The Shining.
oh, that's so
I actually
cool.
didn't know that because I mean I have no idea what he looks like today. So
Yeah, me either.
uh,
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Well,
also, I mean it's not a character per se, but if I could say the carpet, that's a great. I
yeah,
love that character, the carpet.
yeah.
I
I
mean,
love the carp. Oh my God, man. I man, don't even get me started on
another
Stanley
fun
Kubrick.
another fun fact. I actually saw somebody on Instagram that I'm following. He actually has a mask because we all need to wear masks now.
Oh
And
yes.
his was actually the carpet of The Shining, and it had the Brady twins on it.
Oh, that's so
Like,
cool.
where
If
can I
if it was
possibly
the
get
carpet
that?
one without the twins, I'd get it.
Like, yeah, I think
Yeah.
I actually saw it because they're making masks all
Yeah.
stylish, but yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. For me, it's Danny, little Danny boy.
so um, so my closing thoughts on the movie are basically like it's such a great movie, and I mean I don't really I don't get upset when people you know when I ask them like, oh, have you ever seen The Shining, and they're like, no,
Yeah.
not gonna I'm not gonna be mad at them. I mean, it happened the other day. I asked somebody, and they're like, I'm like, do you ever see The Shining? And they're like, no. And I was like, oh, you should watch it. And they're like, no, I'm good. I'm like,
Yeah.
no. I'm like, just suggesting that you watch it. It's just such a good movie. And
Right.
they're like, no, I'm not really interested. So,
Yeah.
I mean, basically, it's a simple film, but at the same time, there's just so much to it. There's so many elements to it because of
Yeah.
the type of director and person Stanley Kubrick was. So, what are your final thoughts on the movie?
My final thoughts are Stanley Kubrick. That's it. Just Stanley Kubrick. I love him. I love the movie. I've seen it pretty much, like a lot. um, but I just love it for the fact that it's Stanley Kubrick, and I love him. So that's my
Right.
thoughts on it.
All right. Well, this has been fun. I
Yeah,
enjoyed this. You enjoyed
actually.
this?
Yeah, me
Uh,
too. I hope that like it wasn't boring or awkward, I guess. I mean, I thought it flowed pretty well. Pretty natural. I don't know, maybe this is making it awkward, so I'm just gonna stop.
no, it's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
we're gonna
But
have, issues here, you know, talking
yeah,
right off what do we think at the time. So
right, yeah, exactly. But yeah, I had fun.
I
Yeah.
also would. So yeah,
No,
hopefully you're watching. Hopefully you enjoyed hearing us talk about Charles Manson and The Shining. And you're not wrong if you enjoyed us talking about Charles Manson. I just want to assure you all
yeah,
right now, it's okay. It's
I know, right?
okay.
Yeah, we're not
Yeah,
trying to influence them, Justin.
I know, right? Join us.
Yeah.
You should join us though. You should join us by,
Right.
watching the
Yeah, yeah.
video.
Yeah, they should.
Also, just want to apologize that, if anyone saw me doing this throughout the video, it's because, the headphones. I might need to
Yeah.
switch headphones, blue ones next time. They're pretty stylish. Maybe I'll break those
Oh,
out next time.
okay. We'll have to see.
Yeah. So, yeah. So thank you all for watching episode 1 of the horror show with Justin and Daniela, Manson
Yeah.
and stay tuned sometime in
For
the future. Episode 2, which is going to be a little more hosted by Daniela
Yeah,
because the
I
topic
know
for
my
episode
favorite.
2 is creepy pasta and salad fingers.
Yes. I love it. Can't wait. Just a
So,
good some episode.
man, but yeah, hope you all enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching. Until next time.
Oh God, I thought you were gonna do the ham thing.